Let's be honest, conducting most of our business and work communications over video calls just isn't very comfortable or natural. I mean, you're stuck in front of your laptop or your computer at a desk. And if we're gonna get real honest here, some of us aren't even wearing business presentable clothes below the top half of our bodies. So to that end, a lot of companies have been trying to solve the problem of video conferencing. Whether it's companies using AI to make your eye gaze look like you're actually looking at the camera when you might not be, to Google with its project Starline and creating a sort of holographic call experience, which we haven't even gotten to see in person yet. Logitech is coming at this with a different approach. The company teased its Project Ghost sort of video conferencing idea earlier this year, and we had a chance to test it out for ourselves. The company is calling this a one-to-one video enclave, where it's also using the words like it's integrating technology into the physical environment to create something that feels like a more natural and intuitive space for you to have your video calls. So I'm one of those people that's super guilty of this. When I'm on my laptop doing a video call, I also have maybe a document on the background I'm working on, or several tabs and windows open that I'm just flipping through at the same time. But when I stepped into Logitech's Project Ghost, I was first comforted by how very soft and warm the environment felt. It really felt like a first-class cabin of a top-tier airline, like Singapore Airlines, for example. None of the technology really was obvious. There was a screen embedded into one of the surfaces and a mirror below it that I didn't really see until I peered into the black box. There's a soft pink couch that's slightly adjustable for people of different heights. And then on the left, on top of a little console table, is a control dashboard for your Teams or your Hangout or your Zoom functions. The call itself was very smooth. I'm gonna say this is going to depend on your internet connection for wherever you are using this. And the person I was talking to appeared life-size. It wasn't a small square on a 13-inch laptop screen. This was spacious. It felt like I was seeing the person eye to eye. Now, to be clear, this was not a holographic or a 3D-ish experience. This was purely 2D, conducted over 1080p, or depending on the stream of your service provider, it could be down to 720, for instance. During the demo, I did hear some echoing and feedback over the speakers sometimes, but for the most part, it really did feel like a very hands-free, comfortable, laid-back conversation without technology getting in the way. The feed was very clear. It felt so high res. I thought I was looking at a 4K stream on a 4K screen, but it really, like I said, was only 1080p at max. Of course, we know Logitech as a company that makes a lot of accessories and peripherals. They're also known for their webcams and streaming technology. In fact, Project Ghost uses Logitech's Rally Plus video conferencing system along with its appliance called Roommate to just create and facilitate the video calls. It also teamed up with furniture maker Steelcase for all of the other parts of it, like the wood, the couch, the soft finishes, the warmth, the color, and honestly, it's a beautiful blend. The whole time I was there, I really felt like there was a sort of sense of privacy, even as 3 or 4 people looked on the conversation I was having, because of the about 5'10" tall walls surrounding the space. And this is something I could see myself using for a healthcare or a telehealth call, maybe a talk with my therapist over virtual services, for example. People who have the money and the space to spare in their homes could potentially use this as a dedicated podcasting area or live streaming area. So of course, this is still just a prototype. In fact, Logitech wasn't even sure they were going to do much with this preview, but apparently, so far the company has received overwhelmingly positive feedback. People want to order this thing for their offices, for example, and that's mostly where Logitech sees this Project Ghost product being integrated. Also, the company isn't, shying away from iterating on the product. It could make a very much smaller version for people to have in a office in their home, for example. Or it could make it into a 2-person space so that it can accommodate more people. There are no details on pricing and availability just yet, even though Logitech did say it might be able to come up with something in the fall, and it's looking at around $15,000 to $20,000 per unit, depending on the iteration. Now, technologically, is dead simple, right? I mean, it's a TV and like a internet connection and some very nice furniture, all camouflaging it very well. But it is nice to see Logitech take a more conscientious approach to the idea of video conferencing with some logistical blending in done. I like the idea. I think I'm more taken by the aesthetic here. I really like the idea of a private space dedicated to a sensitive call, for example. And it was really true that when I was in that space, I didn't feel like the need to be distracted by something else on my laptop. I felt like I was there, I was focused on the call, and I was talking to the person. The eye gaze and the eye contact felt real. While technologically this might not be as impressive as Google's Project Starline, at least this is dead simple and it's probably going to be able to happen sometime in this year. And what Google is doing with Project Starline may be more sophisticated, but I can't see it happening in the next few years. So at least this vision of bringing people closer together and having distraction-free, more realistic, natural video calls is something that's more feasible in the near future. We'll obviously keep an eye on this and hopefully get more chances to experience Logitech's Project Ghost. And in the meantime, you can make sure you subscribe to Engadget for more coverage of the world of consumer technology. Until next time, call a loved one.